Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Killer Author Club. We're so glad you're here. Sit back, relax, grab a mocktail or a cocktail, and we'll be right back.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done. Left me
Hi, everybody. We're back, and we are so excited tonight. We have the one and only Alafair Burke, and we're going to be talking all about her book that just came out in paperback today. And well, first, I am Killer Kara, here with Heather, Killer Heather. Why can't I point right? And with Kimberly.
It's all backwards.
I know it's all backwards. Yeah, and we're here to talk about this book, and it's going to be a very exciting episode. I am still getting over COVID, so I'm a little foggy, but I'm gonna do this. Okay. Anyway, all right. So during the episode, you guys know the drill. Drop your questions in the comments, and even though we can't get to all of them, we will go through and read them, and we really appreciate all the feedback. It's great to have you guys all here. Hey, and if you haven't yet, come join the club. We're on Facebook with Killer Author Club, but we're also the secret special group, the Killer Author Clubhouse, where you have to join. And that's where all the benefits are, really. It's a great group, really, really interactive and encouraging. And we just love everybody who will join. And okay, also, this is so fun. Our YouTube channel now is up to 243 subscribers. That's huge for us. Thank you guys. So anybody who hasn't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that tonight. We really appreciate it. And we might reward them. Not that we bribe people, but we sort of do. Okay. And I think that's, okay. And we also are on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and sometimes TikTok. So you can find us all there. But now, further ado, or sales pitches, I would like Kimberly to introduce our special guest.
Absolutely. So we have Alafair here today. She is a New York Times best-selling author whose most recent novels include Find Me, which is out in paperback today. The Better Sister, The Wife, optioned for a feature film by Amazon, and The Ex, which I loved and was nominated for the Edgar Award for Best Novel. She's also been the co-author of the best-selling Under Suspicion series with Mary Higgins Clark. Who's that? She currently serves as the president of Mystery Writers of America and is the first woman of color to be elected to that position. A former prosecutor, which will, if you've read her books, will not surprise you. She now teaches criminal law and lives in Manhattan and East Hampton. And you can read lots more about her and find all the information about her books on alafairburke.com. And that's BURKE.com. But tonight we are here to talk about Find Me, which has been called a gem. The tension is palpable on every page. I totally agree with that. And the Tampa Bay Times says the story is irresistible. Agree with that one too. So, Alafair, would you give us your quick elevator pitch for Find Me, please?
Yes. So there's two. So to me, the heart of the book, the pulse of the book, is a female friendship. The way women are just tied together in a unique way and will never turn their backs on each other. And the friendship in this book is between Hope Miller and Lindsay Kelly. And Hope lives in a small town, and to her best recollection, which I will explain in a second, she has always lived there in the life that she has known. But it's so small and everybody knows who she is that she moves to East Hampton to get a fresh start. Her friend Lindsay's a little bit worried about how that might go. And Lindsay's worst fears are confirmed when Hope disappears 2 weeks after she moves to East Hampton. The reason why Hope is a little different than your average bear is that the reason why she's always lived in this small town is that 20 years earlier, she was in a car accident and was found near death at the side of the road by her current best friend, Lindsay. And she lives but she is never able to remember who she is, why she turned up in this small town in New Jersey in a stolen car, with out-of-state plates, with no ID and no money. So she's kind of managed to make this life happen for herself in this small town where everybody takes care of her, and she reaches an age where it feels suffocating. She moves to a place where she can maybe start over again. And when she disappears, Lindsay wants to find her and is convinced that, you know, something bad has happened to her, but because of Hope's kind of questionable background, nobody necessarily believes that she's an innocent person, and so the story goes from there.
Right. Yeah, it was so good. And I see
Thank
a
you.
lot of questions already rolling in. So we're going to get to those in just a minute. But for now, let's first settle in for our killer cocktail. Heather.
Yes. So Alafair, the Find Me a Killer mocktail, but you have a fun story behind this mocktail cocktail debate, and we would love for you to tell everyone, because we had a good laugh about it.
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this because, you know, you guys are on the ball, and so you schedule things way in advance. And so we scheduled this a long time ago, and I had my notes in my calendar about what I was supposed to do. And I was like, your mocktail is this thing. And so my mocktail is delicious. It is
anything with
so
cranberry.
I used to always drink this in college, called an Orso cran is what we would call it, like around the dorm, which is orange juice, soda, and cranberry juice, and it is lovely. But I was like, wait, why did I pick a mocktail? Because I wouldn't necessarily normally have a mocktail. And then I like triggered my memory, and I'm like, oh, right. When we scheduled this, I was like, it's January 31st. And past me thought that future me might be doing dry January and would want to like not be a bad influence upon all of you other ladies who are doing dry January. But current me saw it and was like, it's a mock cocktail. So I have my mocktail, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be an enabler. I also have a really big glass of red wine. But
Perfect.
I also suspect my mocktail would taste delicious with either tequila or vodka.
I was going to say exactly that. I was like, you just like it, and it would be
just
up.
Just like that, baby. Yeah.
So starting tomorrow, you can just.
Great.
Yeah. So what else? What are you drinking, Kara and Kimberly?
I'm mostly water because I'm on my path to healing, but I have a little Chardonnay too.
I'm actually drinking water because my husband and I went out for an early dinner, and so we had a couple of glasses of wine at dinner. So now I've switched.
But look at your water glass; it's all blue.
I know. Okay, so this is it's Palm Beach. This was Deborah Royce sent this in her book thing. You know, Reef Road. She had like this book box, and this was in it. So
that's
shout out to Deborah.
Very fun.
All right, Heather.
I've got a little wine in my killer cocktail. New wine swag.
Oh, do you guys have your own swag?
Yeah, swag.
We do.
Authorclub.com.
Oh my God, that's that. Oh my God.
We have so much swag.
Yeah, we're shameless.
Yeah,
we're shameless. But, no, I'm celebrating a lot tonight because my parents are celebrating their 64th wedding anniversary tonight. So I'm at my folks with them. So we had a little wine.
64 years?
64 years. So
my parents are almost there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So much
Niels
fun.
asked for t-shirts. We have tons of t-shirts, Niels. We have t-shirts, we have candles, we have hats, we have
hoodies,
bandanas.
Candles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Candles.
Does it smell like blood or something? What does it smell like?
That was one. Don't we? We have really cute notebooks too. We have
lots of stuff.
Yeah. Folks
check it out.
So cheers to Alafair and
cheers.
Find Me. So congratulations.
Double.
Take a drink, any drink. Oh my God. That's so great. All right. So you guys, And it's time for the special question. In Find Me, the disappearance of a young woman leaves her best friend reeling and an NYPD homicide detective digging into her own past. It's a twisty mystery about the power of female friendships. Laura Dave called it a page turner of the highest order. Really cool. All right, so now here you go. This is the question we're all dying to have you answer. Who do you kill?
Well, in this particular book, I can't even really. It's this book. Experienced mystery readers, who I assume are part of this audience, like the payoff of this book is a lot, because like there's a it starts out hope is missing, and then it turns out that there's a local man in East Hampton who's also missing, and that's gonna be dovetailed. So I'm going to, without telling you who's actually dead in this particular book, in general, like this question is, who do I kill? I think who I don't kill, I kill people who like, the kind of book I don't love is just like there's some evil person who randomly goes and kills a ton of people. Like I think and I also don't like books where whoever gets killed like deserved it or whatever. Like, so a lot of the stories that are most interesting to me is that people wind up in jeopardy for reasons they don't even understand. Mm-hmm. It's and whoever did it, it's because, and whatever secrets people are carrying, they're not necessarily bad people. It's a lot of crime is situational. And I'm not excusing it, but it's not like people are born like out, like they don't emerge from their mother like saying like I'm gonna stab everybody. People get trapped into corners, and they decide to make some decision out of desperation or impulse, and a lot of times the victims just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's this culmination of events. And so I think the thing to me that's most important isn't who winds up, who do I kill? It's not who I die in the book, but how they're treated in the book. And so to me, it's really important that when you read one of my books, you have a sense of the life that was lost, right? And the impact that leaves upon people. You know, as a prosecutor, you know, I worked with crime victims and the people, you know, their families and friends, and just the scar that leaves behind people. So to me, the most important thing is that people feel the impact of the loss of life, and not just that person's loss of life, but the toll that it takes upon the people who cared for them. And sometimes that can be for an entire community. Like, I don't know if you guys are obsessed with the University of Idaho case.
Oh my gosh.
4 like beautiful kids, you know, and you know, that college town, it's a college town that's clearly filled with like, they didn't lock the house. It's, you know, they're good, hardworking kids, but they also obviously were like partying and having fun, and like it's a fun school to be in. And you know, my guess is that place is never going to be the same again. You know, and I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, which my parents moved us to from Southern Florida because it was supposed to be like the safe place to live. And there was a serial killer who was active there called BTK. I don't know if you know about that case. Like, yeah. That's probably my obsession with crime, probably goes back to that. And I can tell you not just about every person he killed, right? But it's like the people who are left behind is like, you know, he killed women who were the parents of children, like who are still scarred to this day. And, but also just the people who lived in that town. The city was never really the same after that. So it's kind of, it's probably not the most funniest in the world, but to me, like what's most important of who do I kill in my books is sort of, it's somebody that's going to be really, it's a lasting character, even if they die on page 1. Like, I think the reader, my hope is that the reader closes the book remembering that person and feeling like they were actually a character in the book, if that makes sense.
Well, I think that's a fabulous answer. I think that's like one of the most unique answers we've had. So thank you for that. That was like really good.
Very insightful.
Yeah.
I mean, who do I want to kill in real life?
I want to know that too.
People who yell at waiters, people who don't take their shopping cart back to the carousel.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
I know. Common courtesy, just be kind. Yeah, I
Those
know.
are the people where I'm like, did you really just leave your car out, or your shopping cart out in the middle of the parking lot on a windy day next to all these cars? But that's different than who I actually kill in books.
Right. Yes. Those are just dream kills, but
I wouldn't not necessarily kill. I would like to maybe like a little bit of shame, maybe.
I agree. All right. So I have a question. I was reading about some of your interviews about the book, and it said, one of the interviews said that you've been long fascinated by memory. Is that where the idea of Find Me came about?
Yeah. So when did I even start? I was already I think I was already interested in it by the time I even went to college. But in college, my senior thesis was on the accuracy of memory, and it's part of what led me to go to law school and be in criminal law. Is that you know, it used to be like the best evidence you could get in a criminal case was like an eyewitness saying like, that's the guy. And it turns out that that's really unreliable. And I got very into that body of evidence when I was a college student, and I would look at the impact of emotion upon like that. So it turns out that memory, because it's personal, right? Like you're like, no, I could swear by it, and it turns out that's really unreliable. There are so many people who will swear by memories, and it'll turn out that it's like, oh no, you have that memory because you saw a picture of you and your sister at something, but it was not your birthday party, it was your sister's birthday. Like, like our memories are very fragile, and they're very malleable. And so I've always been very into that. And so whenever there was a story that came up in real life that had a new memory, I always have an idea file and I clip out stories or whatever. And there were kind of two stories that came together in one. And one was a guy who had long-term amnesia, and he just showed up beaten up and partially clad, basically. Like, it looked like he had been the victim of an assault or an accident or something. Like, he was definitely in like not good shape. But he's no ID, no money, no nothing, swearing that he had no idea who he was, how he got there. And of course people thought like, this is a lie. Like, he's probably like a felon on the lam, or, trying to get away from something, or da-da. But he lived like that for over a decade, and they never figured out who he was, and they eventually did. So that was one story. And then there was another story of a woman who was reported missing in New York, and they're like, really pretty girl, which of course always gets attention, and flyers everywhere all over the city. But then it turned out she had gone missing before, and then they put out that she had bouts of traumatic amnesia, where she would go into a blackout phase and just disappear, and then she would turn up. And me, I'm a skeptical person. Like, as a prosecutor, I'm like, oh, that sounds like someone who just like didn't want to go to work, or like someone needed a fucking break. Like, but she was found in the river, in the Hudson River, like close to drowning. And when they pulled her out, she kind of like, she wasn't even sure who she was. And then when she came to, she did know who she was, and she swore she didn't know what was going on. But it turned out, like, in the 10 days or whatever that she had been missing, she had gone to her gym and taken a shower. Like, she was never really like, but it's this trauma, like, leaves this imprint on you. And so I kind of pushed those two stories together in a way. Like, I have to admit, like, sometimes I have written a lot of books, and I realize like experienced mystery writers might be like, really? a book about a person with amnesia, but I promise, like, it actually does make sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
absolutely.
think that's what's so fascinating about it is there's so many different ways you can go with it because I mean, really the mind.
It's not fantastical. I
Right,
promise you. Like the
exactly.
whole point is because she says she has amnesia, people suspect that she's a
Right,
grifter. So
right.
when she goes missing again, of course, everybody's
Always
like,
oh,
she grifted
whatever.
once, she's grifted again. But she's got this friend who really believes in her unconditionally. And she's like, I don't know how to make sense of it, but like, I know she's not lying. Like, I
Yeah,
know that she's in trouble.
yeah.
And so that's where I think I almost hate to do the elevator pitch because I know that some people will feel amnesia and be like, oh. I'm like, no. It's really actually about the fact that you have a friend that it doesn't matter what the facts are telling you, you know your friend needs you.
Right.
And so even though she's always kind of, she's not, she's a little worried, like maybe I shouldn't poke this amnesia thing because maybe she was like, I don't know, but she's like, I know right now she needs me. And so to me, it's that interaction. It's a great time for my smoke alarm battery. Did I?
I was like, what is that?
There's fire, get out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently something's happening. But yeah, so it's kind of, it's, amnesia, that I think it's a trope in the best way to some extent in our genre because it's interesting, right? It's to some extent it's about identity. It's, do you know who you are in the present if you don't know your past? Hi, husband.
Hi. We're live on the Killer Author Club.
Everybody says you're cute. No, he's getting the smoke alarm battery.
Oh,
Thank you.
nice. So good.
Nope, it's a different one. It sounds like it's coming there. We have too many smoke alarms.
That's a good thing.
I think it's downstairs, sweetie. Yeah, sorry.
Phyllis wants to know if you still practice law, and if so, how do you find the time to write and practice at the same time?
I don't practice law anymore. I do. So I left the practice of law a long time ago and started teaching at Hofstra Law School, where I'm a tenured law professor. And I write about a lot of things, including the cause of wrongful convictions, including mistaken eyewitness identification and false confessions and other things. That's the one. But so I still teach at Hofstra Law School, and they've been very good about giving, I normally only teach in the fall now, but I'm still a full-time faculty member there. I still love my students. It's kind of the best of both worlds. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many books do you write? A book a year, a book year and a half?
It's come out to about a book. So for many, many years, I wrote a book a year under my own name. And then, as I think you mentioned when you introduced me very kindly, I started co-authoring with Mary Higgins Clark, which I'm still sort of like, so that happened. But I can't do 2 books a year. So I did, a book-ish for me and half a book with her. So I think I figured out the math that with books with her name on it too, I have 20 books in 20 years. So it averaged out to a book a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you co-author with her, how does that work? Like logistically, do you guys plot it out beforehand and then write it?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I assume you guys, everybody watching this knows who Mary Higgins Clark is. When she was, she was in her early 80s, I think, when we started working together. She had a book called "I've Got You Under My Skin." That was a standalone book, but one of the points of view was a reality TV host that was kind of news-based, like true crime news-based thing. And she realized that could be a potential spin-off, like a series, right? That you have a TV show that basically reinvestigates cold cases from the perspective of the people who were the suspects, right? Like they've lived for years under suspicion. so she had this idea for a series, but she really had never been a series author before. And if she did start a series, then that would mean she wouldn't be doing her standalone books. So the idea was, I'm sorry, the idea, just shut all the bedroom doors maybe, that might be enough. The idea is that if she was paired with a collaborator, then she could write her own books and also put this series out. So this is that point where I'm only one character in the story, so I don't know what happened after that. Like, time passed and she did not find a collaborator. And then somebody asked me if, a friend of mine asked me if I was potentially interested in meeting with her. And I'm like,
who says no to that?
No, easy. Yes. Right.
Yes.
I was like, yes. So we met, and we just talked, and she, like, still, like, the coolest thing in the world is, like, we go meet each other, and, like, she's read several of my books and is like, I love what you do with character. And I'm like, wait,
Wow.
I'm sorry. You read my books? Because I read your books when I was like 12.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. So we just so mostly we talked about process, like how we would do that, because I had never co-authored. Well, I had co-authored as a lawyer, right? A lot of your work is co-written. So I'm like, I know how to work as part of a team, but I've never co-written a novel. And she had co-written with her daughter. And I was like, well, how did you do it with your daughter? And she was like, we literally sit next to each other and stay in the same place and write together every day. And I'm like, I assume you don't want me to move into your house.
Well, also, now there are these things called Google Docs. You can do it all over Google Docs.
But neither of us had ever done that. And so we kind of like, we weren't sure how to, and neither of us were outliners, we're pantsers, as they say. Like, so I'm like, we were like, how did two pantsers write together? And we really were just like, I don't know, this kind of seems crazy, but do you want to try it? So we wrote, we kind of had a very loose, not even a plot. You know how a plot is different than a premise. We got a premise enough to, like, we know what the first two chapters look like. I'm like, let's just play with it. And they were great. And we were like, let's just do this. I realize I'm being too long-winded, but after that, what we would do is, like, two pantsers were forced to, like, we can't pants our way through this, or it's going to be a weird thing. So we basically had our own writing room. We would meet for full days, and we would talk through everything. But I think the reason why it worked, and I think my guess is the thing, I mean, I'm speaking for her to some extent, but I think the thing that clicked for us is that we find our plot through character. Mm-hmm. So when we would meet, we would basically talk about the entire cast of characters and what is their relationship to one another, what are the secrets they're keeping, what is their motive to keep those secrets, and, like, that would kind of help us find the plot, if that makes sense. Yeah. So we would have many of those conversations and, you know, lots and lots of notes. We would then turn that into a very lengthy synopsis that we would work on before any chapters were written. And then we would start to write. So it's actually, like, sometimes, like, I think it's messed up my own process because I'm still a pantser for my own work, which is, I'm like, wait, why am I doing this, like, chaotic, unpredictable thing for my own work when, like, I was basically as part of a writing room with, like, one of the best suspense writers who ever lived. But you can't really have a writing room by yourself. Like, you kind of
exactly. So I've co-authored before, and we call it that. We say it's like being in a writer's room because it's like you bounce around ideas. And I said to them, like, when it's time for me to plot out my next novel, will y'all come and, like, you know, come on a Zoom with me for a couple of days till we figure it out. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and I know, I don't know if you all do this with your friends, but I have a couple friends. You can't do this with everybody. Like, it has to be someone who kind of thinks the way you think. But I have a couple of friends who, and it's not like you're writing each other's books. It's just more that if you're able to say, like, this is the thing I'm stuck on, or this is what's not working, Like sometimes somebody who thinks enough like you can ask you the right questions of like, well, what if you change this or what if you change that? And like
Right.
it'll sound futile for like 20 minutes of like no. And then like they'll ask the right question and that'll be the thing. Like, yeah, that works. Bye.
Heather did that for me. Heather did that for me.
Good.
Like,
Isn't that
she's like,
great?
you gotta give him a dog. If you give him a dog, he'll be sympathetic. I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Okay. Yes.
Isn't that great?
Okay. And speaking of things that we gotta move on, you guys, because we're almost out of our time.
I know.
The killer giveaway.
We're having so much
I know
fun.
we could listen to you all night, Alafair, but okay, so Kimberly.
It is time for the giveaway. So Alafair is giving away a copy of Find Me to one lucky winner, and I am putting my book in the pile as well. So we have 2 copies up for grabs. All you have to do is answer this question about our killer guest, and we will pick from the correct answers. We will come and look in all the different groups where we are.
Doggy. Oh, I didn't know we were doing doggies. I would have got my doggies up here. I'm on the 2nd floor. Our doggies don't go on the 2nd floor unless it's time to go to bed.
So cute.
So cute.
So bonus points for joining the clubhouse or subscribing to our YouTube channel. And the killer question is, what state does Alafair call home?
Okay.
So
Oh, wait, what's currently? Is that the right answer?
currently,
Okay.
currently. So drop your answers in the comments. And like I said, we'll come back tomorrow around this time and choose
fair.
2 winners.
Yes. And so now the killers love independent booksellers. And so we always ask our visiting authors to tell us about their favorite or one of their favorite booksellers. And Alafair chose Bookhampton in East Hampton, New York. And so Alafair, why is Bookhampton important to you? What's so special about this bookstore?
I mean, lots of independent bookstores are amazing, but Bookhampton's super amazing because the Hamptons are known as the Hamptons. It's surrounded by like a fancy Ralph Lauren store and a Prada store and a Cartier store, and yet it's like just a regular person bookstore that keeps on ticking, and they do a great job. It's beautiful, and the staff there is so friendly, and their staff picks are great, and they curate their books terrifically, and they can get you anything that they don't have. It's everything that is terrific about an independent bookstore. There's great dogs in there. It's awesome.
Aw.
Love it.
So everybody can go ahead and contact Bookhampton. We'll drop the link. So you
Already
can
done. Check.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I'm
it's
on
done.
top
So
of things tonight.
check the comments, and you can navigate there and pick up Find Me or any of the other books by
Yes.
Alafair. So make
Or
sure you
any
go
of
shop.
you too. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.
He's
And
afraid of
also,
this.
your dog is so cute here.
Hiding from the sun.
So cute.
I'm like, it's not here. Don't worry.
And so
Sorry.
we wish we often get lots of authors who we'd love to be able to feature on the show. And we just don't, we only meet every other week. So we've started a new segment, relatively new, called KAC Celebrates, Killer Author Club Celebrates. So this week we're celebrating Leanne Cale Sparks' Every Missing Girl, which is out on February 7th. Sparks takes her gift for nail-biting drama to a new level with a cold case of a missing girl suddenly gone red hot. This enthralling page-turner, according to Lisa Reagan. So congratulations to Leanne and Every Missing Girl. So keep an eye out for that hitting the shelves soon.
Okay. All right, you guys. And now it's our segment about swag. As we demonstrate, we have a lot at the Killer Author Club. So membership has its privileges. I may have mentioned that before. So if you're a member of the Killer Author Clubhouse, that's a Facebook private group, you are eligible to be drawn as a winner of swag. And so tonight's winner is Diana Elliott Barnett. So Diana, please just ping one of the killers and we will send some swag your way. Thank you for being in the clubhouse.
I love it. So we have good news for you, Killer Alafair. You survived the Killer Author Club.
Sounds better than the alternative.
And you get a badge to print out and hang on your wall. Give it to your husband. Maybe print it on a T-shirt for him.
He can put it on the smoke detector that's been going on.
Cover it.
Exactly. So thank you so much for being here. It was so fun.
Thank you. You guys are so kind. I appreciate it.
Yes. And we are going to be back in 2 weeks on a special day. So it's going to be on Thursday, February 16th. We'll actually be having our special episode for the Killer Author Club book club with Samantha Bailey. On February 16th, new date. Samantha will answer all and any questions that we might have about her stunning novel, Watch Out for Her. So be sure to read the book because there will be lots and lots of spoilers. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, but in the 2 weeks and 2 days. But in the meantime, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and go shopping at Bookhampton and killerauthorclub.com. So thank you again, Alafair, for being here with us. It was so much fun to chat with you and to learn about your process and all the exciting things coming your way.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where'd she go?
Oh no!
Oh, did we lose someone?
Wait,
I'm
hang
gonna
on.
do my,
I know how to do this.
You do?
I don't think she meant to do that, but here it comes.
Okay, here's our sign off. Okay.
I guess I'm a killer through our love into the